This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Church recommendations on how you come out to your mother in a gentle way. One Reddit user took it to subreddit GayChristians this week to find a way to come out to a mother in a gentle way. The group engaged in a compassionate dialogue regarding a user's dilemma of coming out as bisexual to their conservative evangelical mother. The user expressed anxiety over potential rejection due to their mother's beliefs, exacerbated by existing family hardships. Commenters offered support and practical advice, emphasizing the importance of honesty while acknowledging the user's responsibility to prioritize their own well-being. Suggestions include affirming one's identity while also recognizing the limitations of changing deeply held beliefs. Some advised waiting for a less stressful time to disclose, prioritizing the mother's current challenges. Overall, the discussion underscored the complexities of coming out in an unsupportive environment and the importance of self-care and boundaries. It highlighted the need for empathy and understanding and difficulty in navigating difficult conversations with loved ones, while also affirming the user's inherent worth and dignity as they embark on their journey of self-discovery and authenticity. There were even comments that you should literally rip the bandaid off and not care about the consequences. Queer God Squad is happy to witness the LGBTQ+ community dealing with such genuine issues head-on, especially amidst the current political environment. It also shows the LGBTQ+ community's resilience, self-care, and self-compassion in these moments. Yay! That's a great story. It makes me happy that people have a place to go to, thinking about coming out. What does that look like? What could that look like for me? And there are people there to support it. Everybody has a coming out story. We all have our own coming out stories. And it is unique as your thumbprint. Everybody has their own coming out story. I want to share that yesterday I have a very dear family member, and yesterday was their T-Day, which means that they changed their gender marker. They came out as transgender. They're transgender, and I love them. Kai, I love you.
Bless Kai.
Congratulations.
Yay. I love that. We do each have our own coming out moment. Mine was called birth, but really as a kid, looking back, I'm annoyed that anyone acted surprised when I finally said the word. I'm so annoyed that I even had to tell anybody, because it was obvious. But but when you do it and how you do it and to whom you do it, that is completely your choice.
Yes.
I promise you're going to feel better when you do it, but no one can tell you when that moment is. It should be healing and liberating and empowering, and that it won't feel like that if you feel forced. And so I think probably sooner is better. Certainly for me it was. I came out at 19, and then I regretted that I didn't do it 2 or 3 years earlier. But in those days, people were coming out at 30 and 40, and now they come out at 12. I just, how great that would have been to just grow up with support and knowing who you are. But nevertheless, I did it when I chose to. And then it changed my life for the better. There have been challenges, but there will be challenges anyway. You're not getting out of challenges, hiding and lying and having shame and fear. Those are challenges to themselves. And so coming out creates different challenges, but those challenges are balanced out with authenticity and feeling a sense of who you are, knowing who you are, and choosing to be proud in that. So I'm all for coming out, but also I don't like when people are outed unless they're mean. And like if you were a closet gay person who voting against gay people, I hope you're outed. I'm not going to prevent anybody from opening your door, but mostly I don't think people should be outed, and I don't think you should come out until you think you're ready, because it's your life, and so you should. The whole point is to find your joy, not to add to your anxiety. And so, but there is real power in saying, at least to yourself and one other person, this is who I am, and then living in the joy of knowing who you are. You won't regret it.
You ever having conversations last couple of weeks with older people in our community, and they have been telling me their stories about their shame that they carried for all those years, and a lot of them came out much later in life, and they've been appreciative of how young people are able to come out now, and there's the support for them. You know, some of they were married, they had children, they don't. And they said, now I just have this sense of relief, and I wish I had done that sooner. And I think it's because of platforms like this, and places like the Sunshine Cathedral and other places that people can come and find that safe net to be able to have those conversations, be able to formulate those conversations with people that they need to have those conversations with. You know, I think as we live long enough, we're continually coming out about something, but we need not let the weight of that keep us down or make us feel ashamed.
Shamed, right?
I'd love to think about how Reddit could have been helpful to a young gay boy like me back in, the late 60s and early 70s. I had an aunt who would come up to me, and she knew that there was something different about me, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. So she says to me, "You're gonna marry a white woman." That was her thought, that's how I was different. Now, I knew since even before she told me who I was going to marry that I was going to be with a man when I got to be a man. So to know that subreddit has groups where people can be as open and as clear with themselves as they are, wow, what a change our world has made. And the conversations cover the gamut. You should do this, you should do that, you should rip the bandage off, you should be more gentle, but the conversation is there. The conversation did not exist before. It was one person trying to figure out how they were going to share with the world who they are. Now they have a whole community that they can sit back and listen to and then make decisions, adult decisions about who they are. And 12 years old, I would work with a youth group for a number of years where the kids were just powerful in who they were and how they felt about the world. And I will tell you something, they were never going to go into a closet. They were never going to allow anybody to tell them who they were. So, gosh, it's nice to know that the work that we've done over the decades is playing out in a much different way, and that the children and young adults that are coming into the world today will be the power structure going forward.
We were either young, all of us at this day, we were either young or very young during the liberation movements. The women's lib, gay liberation, the sexual revolution, civil rights, all of that. I was born in the 60s, and I guess we were born within a decade of each other. And so we grew up with all of that. And so we grew up confronting shame and fear and injustice and trying to overcome it and thinking there's better and work for better and fight for better and march for better and vote for better and sing for better, all those wonderful folk songs. So we did, that's what we did. And I love that there are people now who don't have to fight to overcome shame. There's still a lot, if you're in certain religious settings, there's still a lot of shame trying to be imposed on you, but there is now another thing you can look at. There's another narrative you can hear, whereas we were still creating the narrative. And so, so I love that. And what we found is shame is useless, and fear is almost always based on a lie, and guilt is useless. And so one of you said something about when you come out about anything. Well, once I came out about who I am, I've never been able to keep a secret since.
There you go.
So like, well, don't tell anybody you're HIV positive, but I am, and I'm not gonna lie about it. Don't tell anybody that that you have to take medication for your mental health, but I do. I'm not gonna lie about it. And it is a freeing way to live. It is a joyful way to live. To say, all of this is good. All of this. I mean, I got to work on some things. I need some help with some things, but there is nothing shameful or evil or wrong about this.
Exactly.
And so that was the gift coming out, was for me. Then now I live out about everything. And once you find that, that's liberation. That's salvation.
That absolutely is.
So
that is salvation.
I recommend
indeed.
it.
Yep.
And I will not let the church off the hook in this conversation. Just pray about it and Jesus will fix it for you. Or just go to the confession enough and confess it all the way and Jesus will fix it. Or, all these other things. I think there's a healthy part of this conversation. I didn't see anybody saying that in this thread about just give it to and let that fix it for you. You know, like
These
the whole,
kids are smarter.
Yeah, they're smarter
Yeah,
and
they are.
healthier. You know, I agree with the whole, the Paul thing. You know, there's a thorn in my flesh, and I didn't know what that meant when I first, but I recognized, I resonated with that passion. Like, I don't know what that is, but I know that's my
I
story.
prayed for it to go away, and it didn't. And God said, "My grace is sufficient," and that's exactly.
Yeah.
Because I went to confession.
Yeah.
In fact, God has my permission to strike me straight right now in this conversation. But
Well.
You just hang on to your husband over there. Yeah.
and then it'll just be a mixed marriage. It'll be straight but no, I mean, that doesn't. Of course, that doesn't work.
Of course not.
And because there's no reason for it to work. I mean, I may as well pray for God to make my ears smaller. Why? Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what? So yeah, it's so I'm glad that was even on the table in this discussion. That,
No.
Don't ask God to make you be something else. Because this is what life has given you. Just learn to appreciate it, enjoy it.
Yes. Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our global fellowship. This year, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure to go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.